Today we will tell you about the most significant events in Russian cosmonautics that took place during the year. So the record-breaking series of launches continues. A series of accident-free launches of Russian space rockets has been going on for more than 5 years, which has now reached 117 launches. In 2023, there were 19 launches of Russian space rockets, 9 from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, 7 from the Presets Cosmodrome and 3 from the Vostochny Cosmodrome. Among them are 17 launches of Soyuz 2 family launch vehicles and 2 launches of Proton-M launch vehicles. All of them have been successful. In June 2023, 40 Russian spacecraft were put into orbit during the launch of the Soyuz 2.1B launch vehicle with the Fregat upper stage from the Vostochny Cosmodrome. Hydrometeorological Meteor-M, No 2.3 and 39 small satellites built, inter alia, within the framework of the Universal Program and for the benefit of the SpaceP project. The simultaneous launch of so many Russian satellites was a record in the history of Russian cosmonautics. Next, bottom line, financials. Roscosmos State Corporation ends this year with consolidated revenue 24 billion rubles more than in 2022. The loss was minimized. At the end of 2022, 18 billion rubles, which is almost 3 times less than the forecast. In 2023 the trend will continue, and at the turn of 2025-2026 it is planned to fully stabilize the financial and economic situation in the industry. Now about the ISS. In April 2023, Yuri Borisov, Director General of Roscosmos, informed the heads of space agencies of the partner countries in the International Space Station project of the Russian government's approval to extend our country's participation in the project up to and including 2028. Before that, in February 2023, the Scientific and Technical Council of the State Corporation approved the decision of the Council of Chief Designers to extend the operation of the Russian segment of the ISS up to and including 2028. It was approved by the State Commission in March 2023. Based on this, Roscosmos has sent a proposal to the government of the Russian Federation. In 2023, in order to maintain the reliability of ISS operation as a whole and to guarantee the presence of at least one representative of Roscosmos on the Russian segment and the presence of at least one representative of NASA on the American segment, an agreement was reached with the American partners to continue cross-flight operations up to and including 2025. In July and December 2023, 2 addenda to the execution agreement between Roscosmos and NASA were signed, with regard to integrated crew flights on Russian and American manned spacecraft. Also in September 2023, the landing of the Soyuz Mississippi 23 manned spacecraft successfully completed the annual flight of Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Prokopyev and Dmitry Petlin. The duration of their stay on the ISS amounted to 371 days. During the flight they fully completed the program of scientific research and experiments, ensured the operability of the Russian segment and carried out 6 spacewalks with a total duration of 39 hours and 44 minutes. At the same time, in September 2023 on the ship, Soyuz MS-24, to the ISS arrived participants of the next annual flight of cosmonaut Roscosmos Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub, whose return to Earth is scheduled for September 23, 2024. Next event. Development of a Russian orbital station. In June 2023, Korolyov Space Corporation's Energia rocket completed a preliminary design for a Russian orbital station. It underwent an expert review by the state corporation's head research organizations, and was adjusted based on the results. The preliminary design has been submitted to Roscosmos for final acceptance, based on the results of the October 2023 Space Development Meeting. Yuri Borisov reported that an instruction has been given to approve the federal project for the establishment of ROS. The station is planned to be deployed in a high-latitude orbit with an inclination of 96.8 degrees in 2 stages. The first phase is expected to include the launch of the Science and Energy Module, the Node and Airlock modules, and the Base Module. In the second stage, by 2032, it is planned to equip ROS with target modules, including free-flying ones. Next event. Realization of the Sphere project. This year the state corporation continued the implementation of the federal project, Sphere, which includes orbital constellations of spacecraft, communications and Earth remote sensing. In October 2023, Roscosmos contracted Reshetnev to build 6 SCIF broadband internet access system satellites, scheduled for launch in 26 to 27. In November 2023, flight tests of the SCIF-D demonstration spacecraft were completed to protect the SCIF system's orbital frequency resource and to test internet access technologies. In September 2023, the state corporation signed a contract with Roscosmos for the manufacture of 5 prototype and 132 regular marathon and haute data transmission system satellites. In addition, the company is building the Marathon experimental spacecraft. The satellites will be manufactured by Roscosmos on the principles of conveyor assembly, one of the top priorities at Roscosmos. And their launch into orbit is planned for 2024 to 2028. The design of the Express AMU-4 communications and broadcasting spacecraft was completed in May 2023, with launch expected in 2026. In November, Gazprom, Space Systems and Roscosmos signed a contract to build the Yamal 501 communications satellite, which is scheduled to be launched into orbit in 2026. In addition, the development of the Griffin Global Earth Monitoring System, which will comprise 136 small spacecraft, will begin in 2023 in the interests of the Sphere project. The first 4 demonstration satellites are scheduled to be launched this year. The next event: the resumption of the lunar program. In August, from the Vostochny Cosmodrome, the Soyuz 2.1B launch vehicle with the Fregat upper stage launched the Luna 25 automatic station, the first domestic spacecraft to explore the Earth's natural satellite in almost half a century. During the stage of the flight to the Moon, the station took the first images from space using the STSL television complex. After entering ISL orbit, the station imaged the south polar crater on the back side of the Moon, measured gamma-ray and neuron fluxes from the Moon's surface with the Adren-LR instrument, obtained parameters of the near-lunar space plasma with the Ares-L instrument and of the surrounding plasma in near-lunar orbit with the PML instrument. On August 19, 2023 at 14:57 Moscow time, as a result of issuing a correction pulse with a deviation from the calculated parameters, the station entered a non-calculated orbit and ceased to exist, colliding with the surface of the Moon. At present, the investigation to find out the reasons for the abnormal functioning of the spacecraft is ongoing, and a set of measures is being formed to prevent similar situations in the future. Yuri Borisov stressed that the Russian lunar program will be continued. The Luna 26 station is scheduled to be launched in the 27th year for research from lunar polar orbit. In the 28th year of the Luna 27 landing to take and study lunar soil samples. Next event: replenishment of the orbital constellation. In February 2023, the Electro-L hydrometeorological satellite number 4 was launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome by a Proton-M rocket carrier with upper stage DMO-3B. In May, after completed flight tests, it began to be used for its intended purpose, thanks to which Russia deployed a full constellation of 3 hydrometeorological spacecraft in geostationary orbit for the first time in history. In May, ASOYUZ 2.1, a carrier with a Fregat upper stage, launched the Condor FK-1 radar satellite, designed for round-the-clock, all-weather radar observation of the Earth in medium and high resolution, from the Vostochnaya rocket launch site. The spacecraft is in the final stages of flight testing. In June, the Meteor-M hydrometeorological satellite No. 2.3 was launched from the Vostochny Cosmodrome by SOYUZ 2.1B rocket using a Fregat upper stage. It solves not only monitoring tasks in the interests of Roscosmos, but also provides retransmission of signals of the COSPAS SARSAT International Search and Rescue System. The spacecraft is in the final stages of flight testing. In December, a highly elliptical hydrometeorological satellite Arctica M2 was launched from Baikonur by SOYUZ 2.1B launch vehicle with a Fregat upper stage. The spacecraft is in the flight test phase. In addition, within the framework of the Universal Program, 9 spacecraft of CubeSat dimension were launched, the information from which, according to the conclusion of Roscosmos and the Ministry of Transport, can be used for departmental tasks. Also this year, the orbital constellation of Earth remote sensing is planned to be replenished with spacecraft of radar observation, OBSOR-R1, Condor FK-2. Optical electronic surveillance, RESURS-P, number 4, NPP-2T number 1 and number 2, hydrometeorological, contract, number 2. Meteor-M number 24 and helio-geophysical monitoring Infosphere-M number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4. The next event: increasing the consumer characteristics of GLONASS. In the 23rd year, the GLONASS K2 spacecraft was successfully launched into orbit, emitting new navigation signals with code division in the L1, L2 and L3 bands. They are radiated together with conventional frequency division signals in the L1 and L2 bands. With the launch of GLONASS-K2, a query-free optical quantum optical system based on optical quantum optical systems has been introduced, which allows measuring pseudodistance in the optical range. Measurement refinement allows comparison of timescales, onboard and ground standards at a previously unattainable picosecond level of accuracy. The achieved level of accuracy is sufficient for calibration of request-free measurement paths in the interests of prospective GLONASS spacecraft, including paths of request systems of inter-satellite lines, as well as ionosphere-free line combinations of measurements of request-free measuring instruments on frequency and code division signals. In 2024, the renewal of the orbital constellation will continue with the launch of GLONASS-K satellites and another GLONASS-K2 spacecraft. The next event, continued construction of the Vostochny Cosmodrome. In 2023, a set of activities aimed at completing the construction of the first stage of the Vostochny Cosmodrome, as well as the construction of the second stage facilities, was implemented. The main efforts in the work were focused on the creation of facilities to ensure the start of flight tests of the Angara launch vehicle. In September, 3 residential buildings were commissioned in the Zvezdny neighborhood of Tsiolkovsky. The main construction and installation works on the main facility of the second stage of the Cosmodrome, the launch complex of the Amur Space Rocket Complex, have been completed. In December, the first stage of comprehensive tests of the complex with a full-size Angara NZH mock-up was successfully completed. The first launch of the Angara A5 launch vehicle from the Vostochny Cosmodrome is planned for spring 2024. Take work on the creation of the airport complex of the spaceport. In August, based on the results of a technical flight performed by an aircraft of the state aviation of Roscosmos, the readiness of the complex's runway to receive and release aircraft in simple weather conditions and during daylight hours was confirmed. The complex is fully prepared for helicopter landings. This year, work has begun on a number of second-stage facilities, including an assembly and test building at the technical complex designed to prepare heavy-class missiles. Well, another important development is the creation of reusable launch vehicles. In March, the Progress Rocket and Space Center began technical design of the Amur SPG Space Rocket Complex, which includes an Amur medium-class launch vehicle powered by liquefied natural gas with a returned first stage unit. The technical design is scheduled to be completed at the end of 2024. In July, reconnaissance of the first stage landing areas in the Amur region, Khabarovsk Krai and Yakutia was conducted. The implementation of this program will make it possible to create a new domestic launch vehicle that will meet the world trends in space science. In 2023, the Akademician Mikheyev State Rocket Center continued research work to confirm key technologies for the development of a reusable single-stage Corona vertical takeoff and landing reusable launch vehicle, which will be capable of both launching cargo into orbit and returning it back to Earth, as well as being used as a vehicle for point-to-point suborbital flights of unlimited range.